The Alton Towers Resort is home to a lot of roller coasters, but a new one hasn't opened at the resort since 2018 with Wickerman. And earlier this week, despite all expectations, Alton Towers put on their socials that a new junior coaster would be added to the park. And of course, with it being off-season now, and in usual UK Thursday style, everyone instantly got to speculation. And for a little bit of context, CBeebies Land at Alton Towers opened back in 2014, with licensing from the BBC for shows such as In the Night Garden and Postman Pat. And that ride specifically is a tracked touring ride, with an interactive feature where apparently you give people parcels. From what I can understand, you go past these little statues of people and press a button to give them a parcel.
Well done! And Jacob is so pleased now that he has his train.
Oh, and he repeats the exact same thing for another person. Great.
Well done! And Jacob is so pleased now that he has his train.
Anyways, the reason I'm talking about this ride is because we're pretty sure the new ride's going to go in that plot. From a few weeks ago, we saw markings outside the ride, and a few trustable sources are saying it's closed, including Google. But to my knowledge, the park hasn't announced its proper closure yet, and is still listed up on their website. But if we're looking at what ride models could perhaps go here, the plot of land where Postman Pat currently sits is actually quite a sizable bit of land for a family coaster, and in my opinion would be a perfect fit for a Vekoma LIM family multi-launch coaster. For example, Lightning at Footage, which is the POV shown on screen right now. And if you take a quick look on Google Earth, you can see these rides have actually quite a similar size plot of land, but Postman Pat's plot of land is slightly smaller. But I guess on a Merlin budget and going in CBeebies Land, they wouldn't want to make it huge. But I think to extend the ride time like Lightning, they could do 2 laps of the coaster. But in terms of the ride itself, I feel like this would be quite a good fit for Towers, having more of an intermediate family ride, and maybe one that's actually marketed towards children. But overall, this model looks like it provides a layout that's not too forceful, but just pure fun for the whole family, and not an SBF spinner. But the reason I think they're going to get a ride probably as big as this, because in the social media post they said a junior coaster fit for the rest of the family, which, unless they've just worded it funny to get the enthusiasts going, means it isn't going to be an Octonauts clone, but instead slightly more thrilling. This ride model also isn't going to break the bank that much for Alton Towers, because as I said before, they're on a Merlin budget. Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood in the US is the largest Vekoma LIM family coaster to open yet, and whilst the whole ride package costs $25 million, the actual roller coaster itself costs about $17.5, and considering this has 2 more launches than Lightning at Footage, I'm estimating the equivalent propulsion and braking system for Big Bear Mountain, including the track it has, to be about $16 million. And then if we do $16 million divided by the amount of track it has, that comes out to about $4,010 per feet of track. And also to back this up, Let Coaster, which has a very similar track style to Big Bear Mountain, which comes out at a very similar cost of 4,000 euros per feet of track. And let's be real, the euro has basically an identical conversion rate to the dollar. But anyways, if we then times the track per feet value of Big Bear Mountain by the amount of track that Lightning and Footage has, by my estimates, the minimum cost of the ride system would be about $5.5 million. But let's be honest, that cost would definitely increase with theming and other sorts of things in the surrounding area. And I'm probably just not accurate in the first place. But for a park of this scale and its first roller coaster in 8 years, that really isn't that much. But in Alton Towers' usual style, this ride model is probably a little bit of a stretch. And another great ride model, if we look at this plot of land, could be a Mack family spinner. Hear me out with that model though. Next year, Universal is opening a brand new theme park in Florida called Epic Universe, which is getting a brand new launched version of the Mack family spinner model. This ride even features a swing launch to make it extremely compact. And whilst, yeah, it's not the most realistic choice that they would make, but it's definitely easily marketable. This is also probably more realistic than a Vekoma because Merlin already have a working relationship with Mack. However, if they were to stick with Vekoma, I think they could get one of the new family coaster layouts. This is a slightly bigger version of the Horus, which is shown on screen. It has slightly upped stats compared to the Calypso model, but I think the slightly smaller Calypso probably won't be what they pick if they do go with Vekoma, because it's very similar in size and stats to Octonauts. But also, I think it just provides an overall more intimidating look, in terms of family coasters that is, because in theory they wouldn't want that area to be too repetitive. And finally, what I personally see to be the most realistic option for the park is a family multi-launch coaster by Art Engineering. This ride is again a cheap multi-launch coaster which is very compact, compact and has the same element as in a Vekoma LAM multi-launch coaster with the multi-lapping layout. This ride is also very low to the ground and easily themable, but I mainly feel like it's a more realistic version of the Vekoma LAM family coaster because Art Engineering is actually a subsidiary of Mack Rides, and as we've already seen before, Merlin has a really good relationship with Mack. But I think overall in terms of the ride model, they're going to go with some sort of launch coaster because currently the only real proper launch coaster in the park is Rita. I never said it was the most powerful, but overall I feel like Towers would benefit a lot from another launch coaster, and especially a more family orientated one, especially considering right now there are 8 roller coasters in the park with a lift hill. Not only that, but I think it just provides some thrill for the whole family like the original post said, and some form of introduction to launches for children who maybe haven't experienced a proper launch yet but are trying to get an introduction to one. And then we have the other aspect of the ride, which is what theme it's going to have, and leading rumours right now say it's going to be Bluey themed. If you don't know, Bluey is basically this kids TV show about a bunch of Australian dogs, and CBeebies actually has the licensing for the Bluey IP. As you can see in the video here, they literally already have a Bluey meet and greet. The whole reasoning behind the Bluey theme is because the Bluey brand has been expanding rapidly into different things recently, and just this meet and greet itself proved to be one of the most popular things in CBeebies land. For example, a new Bluey's World interactive experience is opening in Brisbane, Australia, and the Disney parks also seem to have obtained the Bluey IP for similar meet and greets at their parks and on their cruises. But I think if they were to get an Art Engineering family coaster, they could call it like Bingo's Mine Train Adventure. I know absolute squat about Blue if you couldn't tell, but whatever this investment turns out to be for Towers, I hope it's good because I will be riding it. But anything will be accepted because 4 large investments 4 years in a row for Towers is absolutely wild. But who knows how thrilling this is going to end up being, so I could be completely wrong in this video, and to be honest I probably am. But yeah, at this point we're mainly just waiting on a confirmation to see where the plot of land this is, and also what the layout's going to be like and what the ride model will be. But if the Staffordshire Moorlands Council site ends up getting any slower, we're probably never seeing this. And for reference, I know I immediately failed posting every day until Christmas. However, just before we do start this ranking, just want to give you a quick announcement of the fact that I'll be doing daily uploads until Christmas Day. So yeah, enjoy whatever yap I've managed to come out with until the big 25. So apologies about that, but I am trying to keep the posts consistent. But Fury 325 clone, here we go.